I got a very exciting list today. Let's talk about it. Q Presidente the 17th. Thank you. So we've done this a few times where I've been kind of hyper focused on the cheap red cards in Modern, where all of the best cards in Modern are red, and they're very low to the ground. And we've built a lot of different versions of this good card, red-based, mid-range deck, or mid-range maybe not right word here, but there's been a lot of messing around with hold on, this is these very low to the ground red-based mid-range decks. A lot of times with Asmo, not always with Asmo. I've sometimes a bit more aggressive with Bomac Courier, Shrapnel Blast, but Ragavan is a really absurd card, and Ragavan does have a lot of artifact synergies. Plays nice with Urza Saga. And I was also thinking that Wrenn and Six plus Urza Saga was something I was really, really liking in the Jund Saga list, where we were playing just one Mox Amber as a Saga target, but Mox Amber was performing really well. And the reality is, Wrenn and Six is probably the best card in Modern, with maybe the exception of Imri. That's probably not even true. I think Wrenn and Six is probably the best card in Modern with Mox Amber, where Ragavan, Imri, any of the other cheap creatures that you can play, just they're very fragile and they can die, and then your Mox gets turned off. But the fact that Wrenn and Six is a 2-mana 4 loyalty Planeswalker is kind of crazy with the Mox. It's kind of crazy with the Mox, and so I was looking at a few different shells, and I think it the most obvious, if we're trying to play an Urza Saga, Ragavan, Wrenn and Six, Mox Amber deck, I think that easily the most obvious shell is to pair it with the Underworld Breach combo, a combo that is somewhat popular in Modern at the moment. There's a blue-red splashing white version that is, I think, an incredibly good deck. It's doing really well at a lot of paper tournaments. Isn't doing as well on Magic Online, but I think that may be partially due to the fact that it's a combo that's a little bit annoying to click through online. In addition to... I've got a little bit of extra tech for the combo. So usually the combo is Grinding Station plus Mox Amber or a 0-mana artifact. Lets you go through your deck, and then eventually you'll be making mana with Mox Amber. Every time you sacrifice it to your Grinding Station, replay it with Breach, then you're going to Grapeshot them once or twice to kill them. But one thing I think is kind of cool in this list is that instead of just playing multiple copies of Grinding Station, which is usually pretty bad to draw 2 copies of, a bad card to draw early, we're only playing 1 copy, and we can use Goblin Engineer to just dump it in the graveyard. And it's usually fine to just have the Grinding Station in the graveyard. I think Engineer is also can be a powerful card advantage engine with Experimental Synthesizer and Mishra's Bauble too, or at least draw a card every turn, or 2 cards a turn if you have 2 synthesizers. A card that kind of demands a removal spell a lot of the time. Someone on Twitter this morning, however, suggested playing a second Grinding Station in the sideboard against decks with lots of exile-based removal. So I think I agree. I think against specifically 4-color and also blue-white control, a second Grinding Station in the sideboard makes a lot of sense. I was in a big brewing playtesting day yesterday. I scrubbed out of the Pioneer Super Qualifier and then spent the entire rest of the day brewing and trying new stuff. And this was this deck felt very, very good to me yesterday. I 4-won 2 leagues in a row, losing 2 very close ones even. But then also I do a lot of playtesting. This list was feeling so clean and so powerful. This deck is a really interesting combination of aggressive, grindy, and having a 2-card infinite combo at the same time. It's very, very good combination. Probably went a little too long in the deck tech. I think it's fine. I ultimately felt the Tolarian Terror wasn't very it was just not that fast of a card. I really needed to come down turn 2 or 3 a lot of times. It was more times turn 3, turn 4. Not that often cheap on turn 3. David the 14 showed up the 7, so maybe you're supposed to play Gurmag instead. Maybe I guess we'll talk about the list. I did a lot of playtesting yesterday. It felt very good to be doing so much playtesting finally. So yeah, the idea is some of my lists had Eldritch Evolution instead. I ended up cutting some evolutions for Serum Visions, but I might go back if I'm going to be playing Gurmag instead. But the idea is play a Murktide Terror, Neoform it into a Gristlebrand, draw a lot of cards, control the board with Force Subtlety, And then you could put a Tidespout Tyrant into play to win the game. Okay, we're up against Burn, which was a matchup that I lost to and not having Shadowspear in my deck, and I ended up adding Shadowspear to my deck. And we're on the draw, but we get to go Ragavan, Mox Amber, Blast, which is like a pretty nutty turn 2. Soulless, 10 months, thank you. So they wisely Searing Blaze before combat to not give me the guide trigger. Another Mamber. Shocking here is maybe not ideal, but I think I am going to do it. And I think I'm going to get a Mishra's Bauble. I'll get the Shadowspear. It's just so bad if the Engineer dies. I don't have any other creatures. We'll just get a Mishra's Bauble, and this way I can like sack the Synthesizer for Bauble if I want to. Togo, thank you for the raid. Appreciate everybody coming from Togo's channel. Good morning, good morning. Soulless, thank you for the 10-month resub. But suspends a Rift Bolt here. Very good Searing Blaze from my opponent. Grapeshot, not a super helpful addition. Let's go ahead and start off with a Experimental Synthesizer, though. Looking mostly for Urza Saga in this matchup. Okay. So let's go ahead and sack the Synthesizer for a Bauble. Then there's another Goblin Engineer on top, which is not going to be helpful here. That's okay. We get to, keep churning through the deck. I do think that this game probably does a good job illustrating like how like this being an engineer instead of like a redundant grinding station gives us like a much better chance to win this game. That being said, we might still lose. I think we're pretty behind at the moment. Although, okay, now we have Underworld Breach plus grinding station, plus these Mox Ambers. So we can go Breach, Ragavan. I think we're exactly enough. Hold on. Okay, so we might Shadowspear gain 2, though that's maybe not quite enough. So we can go Breach Ragavan, no cards in the yard, tap Mox Amber for a mana, play Mox Amber, cast Grinding Station, go off. I believe that's the case. Let's go for it. Spike, I really needed 3 Mox Amber. Yeah, Mox Amber is nuts with Wrenn and Six. It's obviously good with Ragavan, and it's a very important combo piece too. Okay, Monkey. You'll end up trimming the 3rd Mox Amber, or at least I found myself trimming the 3rd copy of Mox Amber post board a few times, but it was still a card I wasn't like gonna recommend leaving home without. So my opponent has a burn spell for Ragavan. They can break this up. Finding a Bauble is interesting because I'll be able to like draw a bunch of cards if they do remove the Ragavan now. However, it doesn't look like they are going to be removing the Ragavan, so it looks like we're likely going to win. So one thing too about this list compared to the Jeskai Breach deck is obviously when I'm not playing blue, I don't have access to Thassa's Oracle as a win condition. However, I've also been saying this. I've been saying this a lot of the time about the Jeskai Breach list. Like I've been like, and some people choose to do this. Like, is it just better to play Grapeshot over Thassa's Oracle, since Grapeshot is like probably a better card to naturally draw and cast early? And playing Grapeshot over Oracle lets you play Gigantha as a companion, and Gigantha is a really broken card. And we've talked about it a few times. I haven't really played like Grapeshot in the Breach list. I was just talking to other Breach pilots, and some Breach pilots said that they've tried Grapeshot and then they've been in situations where they haven't been able to win with the Grapeshot. I've been very consistently able to deal like 60-ish damage with the Grapeshots. Sometimes you need to like bolt at them a few times too, but it's like that's not a very big ask. But you can just Grapeshot multiple times. So I mean, maybe in some games your opponents like do get to that high of a life total, like against Hammer Time with Shadowspear. I could see that happening. They get it to a high enough life total, you can't Grapeshot them out, but why not play Wish and do both? I don't think we could actually make any blue mana, but also I'm trying to stay away from 3 drops. I'm not sure how serious of a suggestion it is, but I'm trying to stay away from 3-drops with the experimental synthesizers. I actually had like one copy of Burgie in the list for a little bit. I thought it was okay, but like ultimately like a little fragile and slow. So we could go for double Grapeshot right now. However, I think I want to be able to play around a Lightning Helix. So, oh no, I actually sorry, hold on. I think I maybe messed up a little bit. If I want to, I mean, we're gonna win the game. I can use the Shadowspear to get more cards in the yard. I was hoping to be able to sack the grinding station to itself to get enough cards to double Grapeshot, but I could actually just sack the Shadowspear. Sorry, what does green give you over blue? So the big card is Wrenn and Six. And in main deck, that's actually the only green card is Wrenn and Six. So the idea is that Wrenn and Six is not only just like, you know, the best card in Modern or one of the best cards in Modern. Wrenn and Six is absurdly good with Urza Saga and Mox Amber. In fact, it's kind of my working theory that Wrenn and Six is the best card in Modern to pair with Mox Amber, where it is for being a 2-mana Planeswalker that's super resilient to removal. It's just going to stay in play way more often than any of your other like 1-mana legendary creatures. And Wrenn and Six plus Urza Saga gives you like an insane degree of like grindy elements against, you know, any opposing deck, which is very powerful. And, you know, to some extent, it's just Wrenn and Six. You know what I mean? This card's nuts. And so also building the deck in this way makes the curve lower. It lets you play a bit of a more aggressive game plan with Dragon Rage's Channeler. Channeler is very, very strong in the archetype. And being in on these artifact synergies lets you play Engineer plus Synthesizer as a card advantage engine. And it means you only have to play one copy of Grinding Station in the main deck too. These are the ideas behind the deck. I'm not, you know, it is important to note, I'm not, you know, playing this list and just declaring that this is the best variant, but I think it's an interesting way to build the deck, and it is definitely felt like very good so far too. So I think I'm cutting a Wrenn and Six and a Forgotten Cave, bringing in a second Boseiju. You could play a third Boseiju. Yeah, we're a third Boseiju. Paths with Twitch Prime, Swindle 24. How to handle Leyline of Sanctity after sideboarding? You have Boseijus. I did get got by Leyline out of Dredge the other day. It is also true, like, if your opponent Leylines you, like, this is a deck that, like, just doesn't have to combo kill. This is a deck that kind of has to combo kill. This is a deck that is, like, totally capable of just, like, beating down Urza Saga tokens, Wrenn and Six value, put a Gigant into play. That's what's so nice about the deck. This deck is a 2-card combo deck that has, obviously what's nice about the Jeskai version. Okay, we're up against Burn. I think we keep this. Saga's like your most important card against them. You are a 2-card combo deck, and every single card in your deck is really good, with the exception of one copy of Grinding Station. I actually like won several games just by like going like Breach, Galvanic Blast, or something like that. That was a very common end of a game for me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna maybe not crack the Bauble. I guess I probably need to find a land, huh? Oh man. Over the 3 months, so the 2 years. It's been 2 years of me trying to get Nihiri the Harbinger and Mono Green Elves. You can ultimate Nihiri for Nettle Sentinel, which I think is insane value. Strongly consider this Wild Valley Engine for our anniversary. I will strongly consider it. I'm gonna bolt them. Maybe a little bit, probably a little bit of this view. Okay, let's Goblin Engineer. There's already a Bauble in the yard. Pyrite Spellbomb is good if they have exactly a protection from red creature. I think I'm gonna get a Synthesizer here. Schlip with the 3 months, appreciate you. Thoughts on Traverse in this list? Traverse doesn't find you either combo piece, which is a problem. I mean, it can find you Engineer, I guess, 4 Grinding Station, 2 Double Blast. Okay. So land would be nice. Okay, Mox Amber, not quite a land, huh? I think I have to cycle an Underworld Breach. Feels less than ideal. Yeah, I do love Experimental Synthesizer. I have such a soft spot for the card. Just the old Sultai Lure Springleaf deck. Yeah, that deck was so good. I think it was pretty underrated too. If I start with Pioneer prep for LCQs, I've been playing a lot of Pioneer. My general process for Pioneer has been find a deck that I'm like really jiving with for these tournaments, and I go into the tournament feeling like, you know, pretty confident, and I'm feeling good, and I don't do that well. I don't know. This last weekend was really weird for me, and this the Pioneer. I had like an Izzet list I was working on that I was like doing really well with the leagues, and then I lost to like right after I used my Pyrite Spellbomb. I lost to like Banned Spirits and then something else. Some other like tribal style deck. Just like a weird tournament. Have I considered Keenan? Keenan. Is Keenan like the blue-green card, or Keenan like... Oh, is Keenan... Yeah, I guess what card is Keenan? So, if it's like the 3-mana red-green Urza, like you can... I think that card is interesting. It's like a very different build, though. Am I still playing Izzet Delver? Yeah, I played actually... That's what I played in the RCQ over the weekend. Let's take a look at that. Hold on. Let me let's click submit here. Try to find it. So yeah, so I had some ideas here that I thought were interesting. Could maybe have been fleshed out a little bit better. Okay, this hand has lands and Saga. So my big thing was that I think Lightning Axe, like, well, I think one big problem that like other blue-red lists have is they're just not playing Lightning Axe. Where Lightning Axe killing like specifically Shieldred, but also just, you know, a few other important cards in the format seems to be very important. And without Arc-like Phoenix, a lot of the let's keep it Lightning Bolt. Without Arc-like Phoenix, I know that a lot of the Izzet lists just don't play Lightning Axe. But I think I became of the opinion that. Maybe the best Izzet shell isn't Phoenix, but I do think you want Lightning Axe in all of them. And I was also thinking that like a couple of Fiery Temper to give you a density of removal that plays well with Lightning Axe, Chartercore, Shredder was kind of interesting. Obviously not 100% confident in the right split. But another thing I've also been thinking in these Izzet decks is I really dislike the card Opt. The card Opt has not been treating me very well, and there's been like many times I've been unhappy to have Opt in my deck, and I would be like a bit more interested in more Burn instead. More Opt just feels like the worst card a lot of times. A lot of these lists, like I'm playing Chart a Course here for like a density of card advantage, and like Chart a Course, Treasure Cruise, Opt as like 3 blue spells that don't impact the board is like too much in my opinion. And there's like I think one more point with that too. Hold on. Maybe I'm supposed to bolt a response to the guide trigger. Fires of Victory over Lightning Axe. Dude, Fires of Victory is, I think, very overhyped. Let's keep this bolt on top, because if they know I have bolt in hand, and they're going to attack into a bolt, I think it's likely to have another threat. You're playing the Divination. I'm not playing that one too. I know I'm not playing, so I also really like Lofty Denial. So the idea is that Lofty Denial with Shredder, Delver, Sprite Dragon, Crackling Drake actually gives you a good counterspell, which is huge, which like all the other Izzet lists don't have access to. The main idea behind this variant. Sleet, so months. Fires Victory and Planeswalker. Yeah, Fires, I think Fires is like, I know, it's 2 mana instead of 1, which is an issue. Oh no, as soon as I play my Boseiju. Although I should be able to hit them with a Shadowspear. It's 2 mana instead of 1. It's definitely like a somewhat playable card. I think it's a little bit overrated though. It's certainly like you know, one of those textbook win more cards too. Okay. Also gonna play an Engineer. I think we could Pyrite Spellbomb. I actually might just burn them out. See, so once again, thank you. But yeah, you could play fires instead. So it's like very high on the curve. I lost to 2 creature decks. Like I think I lost to Bant Spirits and like mono white humans, which I was even like playing 4 Rending Volley in the sideboard with like the consideration for these 2 decks. I'm like, I'm gonna have 13 red removal spells post board against these decks. So I'm gonna be feeling really good, and then I kind of got crushed. Okay, so we can just go Breach, Bolt here. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the mono white deck in Pioneer is good. I agree with that. So let's just assume that they're going to be activating Rolling Vortex to stop you from gaining life, and then Breach Bolt puts them to 1, and then they die to their Rolling Vortex trigger if they don't have a Helix. Yeah, and this is one thing I really like about this build too, is I found that this, like, I guess maybe it was better too. It doesn't really matter. But I found this line of just like burn your opponent out with the Underworld Breach to be a pretty common line, which I think makes the like deck building philosophy of just having 1 grinding station to engineer for a lot better too. But I also really like Persona 5 a lot. All right, let's keep this. Would you play 4 blocks, 2 boxes? No, I would not play less than 3 boxes. You can cut a 3rd box in interactive matchups, but game 1 I would not play less than 3. Ding ding. Fruit 60 months. Thank you. God of War stream. I did play God of War, the first one, or not the first one, but the PS4 one for the first time this year too. I'm very excited for the new one. That's probably like my 3rd favorite game I played this year. Although I wish I didn't really have time to do all the side content, so maybe I would have a higher impression on it if I had. So usually I'll wait on the synthesizers. Here I think it's right to just play it out. Another lightning bolt against Merfolk. Certainly not something I'm unhappy to have here. I think let's keep it. Mark, 11 months ago, thank you. I played Royale, but I also messed up, so I didn't get to unlock the extra content because I was just doing a blind playthrough. So I've started a second playthrough that slogging through the early game again has been like kind of, not something I've been super interested in. Cloud Gaming, 2 months, thank you. Coming from YouTube because schedule makes casual streaming impossible. Well, thank you for popping in. Hope that the YouTube is something you're enjoying. Okay, let's keep that on top. I love Experimental Synthesizer. Pretty close to having Metalcraft. I could also Grapeshot the Lord of Atlantis here, and then I would get Delirium. Let's do that. Okay, that's a very interesting card here. I think I have the Breach in hand. I think I could just graveyard this. Obviously, like, playing it out is a bit better for the Breach combo, but I'm not sure how in on the Breach combo I'm going to want to be here. Do they have Curse Catcher? They do have Curse Catcher. Okay, so they get to keep their Lord of Atlantis alive. It's fine. It does feel like we're going to be on a somewhat more aggressive game plan. I might even, like, if I draw a land, just be interested in going, like, Breach bolt them. I got to channel my inner Brian Kibler a few times yesterday too, with like multiple Galvanic Blasts. Okay, so let's just attack for 3. And I do feel like just going Breach both bolts is the line. Okay, so if I keep Shadowspear on top and my opponent has Force of Negation, I'm able to Galvanic Blast plus Lightning Bolt next turn for the win. And if they don't have Force of Negation, I can go Bolt, then put the Shadowspear in the yard, then Bolt again. If they do have Force, they're going to force this. So let's keep that on top. Not super common, I think, that to see the line of surveil a card to the top, then cast another spell, then surveil something to the bottom be correct. But I think you know, I hope I explained my thought process there, where I'm playing around Force of Negations. I think we're right to keep that on top. Can you get a Metalcraft Blast Blast? Not. I think you could have done so this turn. I think you could have done so this turn, which is more damage, but then you're like stuck with less burn in hand to put them to 2. It's probably like fine either way, right? Not enough cards in the graveyard to escape 2 things. There are because of the Channeler. What do you think about a Darksteel Citadel over a red-green artifact land? So you could tutor a land, probably over a second cave. I think that it's probably like not worth the added consistency. Are we dead? 9 plus 5. We're dead. I had no idea we were... it was even possible to die from this spot. Jeez. Not yet, Rada. Not yet. Really was not expecting to die there. Doc, thank you for the 15 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I think that drawing the artifact land is gonna be pretty dopey most of the time. Obviously, it has some synergy, but I don't think that like you also like curve out it too. So like I don't think you're gonna want to engineer for a land very often. Okay, I think I'm gonna bring in the Needle. Bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb too. I think I want all the Mox Ambers in this matchup. I've been trimming the 4th Synthesizer a lot. I think I can do that here. And I think I can also maybe trim the 4th Breach as well. Or maybe I'm supposed to be trimming the 4th Saga against Merfolk. Because they have a lot of, like, you know, or they have some spreading seas effects. Okay, we can keep this. Yeah, Great Furnace would be super nice. So turn 1 Relic. Definitely makes this Engineer a lot worse. I wonder if I'm ever just supposed to fail to find. Probably not. Well, I guess I am, just because... Yeah. I'm probably not putting a card in my yard next turn anyways, unless I cast the Bolt. I do think I want to play this out for the Mox Amber and to like have the ability to loop stuff. The old Squire, huh? Or not the Mox Amber, sorry, the Springleaf Drum. Okay, so maybe I'm getting Needle for one of these next turn. I do think I want to Bolt the Curse Catcher. Could maybe be better to Wrenn and Six ping, but I think I'd rather make a Saga token this turn and keep the board as clear as I can. Yeah, so I think I right now I feel like I'm very likely to just Needle the Relic. Okay. Revealing an Adept as well here. Land would be really nice to draw. Okay, so interesting that they would cast Curse Catcher with a Relic in play and a Vial on 1. This would definitely imply that they have another 1 mana creature in hand. So hand, in theory, is another Silvergale Adept, 1 mana Merfolk. Okay, so now we have Breach Grinding Station. Do we win this turn? It's only instants and sorceries. I guess they don't have mana for the Relic either. So if I get Mox Amber Play Wrenn and Six. Wrenn and Six plus on the Saga. They tap the Relic. I lose my Saga. I think I'm short. I think I'm one short. I wouldn't be short if it wasn't for the Relic, right? Is there anything I can do? I don't think there's much I can do right now. Get a Bauble. I need to get a Mox Amber if I'm going to try to combo. It's not... Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so let's instead... I think just float a Colorless. And I'm going to Needle the Relic. Play Wrenn. Replay Saga. Cast Grinding Station. I didn't board out Shadowspear. I think that I like this line a lot because I just get the second Saga, which potentially can find me Mox Amber to combo because I have all my combo pieces. Can potentially find me Shadowspear. We're brewing a Shauna, Wilderness Rex Stoneforge deck. That sounds like a lot of stuff. Why not use Grinding Station? What would you want me to do with Grinding Station here? I don't think I would want to sack any of my artifacts here. So they didn't have a 1-mana at Merfolk. That's weird. Oh, Shauna plus Wilderness Wreck is actually really funny. Oh, so now they have a hearse to get my Saga. We are a Mox Amber away from winning. Let's go and just force the hearse activation, I think. Maybe minusing is better here. Yeah, maybe minusing is a bit better, actually. But here I can go Synthesizer, and then with the trigger on the stack, sack the Synthesizer. So I have a lot of looks at a Mox Amber, or I think Bauble also like lets me go off here. Another copy of Saga. Our Grapeshot, okay, our Grapeshot is in the yard, so that's somewhat scary. Found Ragavan. I feel like I should dig deeper here. So I think I'm actually going to attack with my Construct and then mill myself 3. Where if we just find a Bauble or an Amber off the Grinding Station here, we're going to win. And then we also have, I think, like a couple more looks because we can breach a... Experimental Synthesizer if we want to, and then there's the Mox Amber, so we should be good now. I guess it's probably a bit better to just play the Mountain. Yeah, they can't have Force. Can I Grapeshot their board? I was 1 mana short of just fair Grapeshot here, but also the storm wasn't that high. Feels good to be able to do this on turn 5 through a Relic, a Tide Shaper on a Saga, a Hearse. This feels kind of cool. But this should be a win. I'm not sure what their one card can be. So seeing that they're on Relic and Hearse, I think I'm somewhat interested in at least the first Ancient Grudge, maybe 2. 2 could be a bit much. I think I'm kind of okay to trim either an... I think going down 1 more Engineer on the draw is fine. Let's just play 1 Grudge. Cut a Saga. Yeah, cutting a Saga on the draw also seems pretty fine. Could maybe play 1 more Boseiju too over the Saga though. Boseiju's giving them the mana is not that good though, usually. Yeah, I think I'd rather have another Grudge. How do you win there? You just Grapeshot them twice. You're netting a mana every single time you cast the Amber, netting a Storm every single time too. You'll be able to Grapeshot them. Okay, so this Engineer can turn this Mox Amber into cards. These Mox Ambers into cards potentially. Another, redundancy for the Amber a little bit. So I think we can keep this. I agree with that. Have you gave more thought to the red-black Onikelt Anvil? I played some of it earlier this month, or maybe like it was last month. It was post DMU. It is, you know, still not a deck that I think is like crazy good or anything at the moment. I think we just get another mountain here. And then let's engineer a synthesizer. Synthesizer plus engineer is really good. Okay, so they main phase the Hearse activation, which is actually really good against my Grudge, unfortunately. Let's get an upkeep stop, though. I think I'm going to upkeep Blast the Master. Opponent's considering what happens if I double block. And I don't think I'm going to double block. Smart for them to think about it, though. Ooh, we get to mill over a Grudge for some value. That's actually super nice. And I think what I'm going to do here is Flashback Grudge. So I could potentially mill over something for Engineer, but also this is a bit better against Force of Negation. Ragavan turning on these Mox Ambers does seem somewhat important. Alright, let's keep that on top. Okay, they do force the Ancient Grudge, so kind of nice to just like mill over a card that snipes 2 cards out of our opponent's hand here. They pitched a Trickster. And they have the Merfolk Goddess, which is very good here for sure. I can maybe Breach Blast, but I guess I'm too far away from Metalcraft. I need to grudge the Hearse before I do that too, and I guess they're gonna Hearse my Blast anyways, huh? You ever get a like nice double block in? Ooh. So I think I actually keep this on top. I don't want to expose this to the Hearse tap. Then now I can go Mox Amber, graveyard the Bauble into bring back the Bauble. I think we pop it now because we could draw a burn spell. Another monkey, not the most helpful. They can be so you do too. Can't you activate Engineer response to the Hearse activation? Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess that was the better line then. Just graveyard it. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna attack with my Ragavan first. Happy to trade it for a Trickster or whatever. Okay, this is better for them, I think. So I go Breach, put a card in the yard, 5 cards in yard. Mishra's Bauble, put a card in the yard. 6 cards in the yard, but I have to exile 3. I think I'm 1 short of playing a second thing here. I think I need to use my mana though. I might also like end up graveyarding something that's better to Breach. But I'm pausing here. They might have some interaction here. Wow, grinding station. Wow. 1 grinding station in the deck. Oh, they have the Force, which I guess I kind of expected after that pause. That's funny though. That was like that's the nuts. And now another Breach is a potential lethal top deck. Oh yeah, could Legend roll Ragavan for another card if we wanted to. I think I'm gonna double block the Trickster if they attack with it. But if they have the Flash Lord. Yeah, that's one of my favorite decks to play, Deruden. I imagine we'll play some more, too. I might play it at the Star City this weekend, too. Also going Yorion with green white combo list, fits more 2 targets, Thalia, place it pending. Oh, you could. You could. I don't always love, we can chump with Engineer on their turn to win. Chump with Engineer on their turn to win. Probably an older message. Not sure what the line is exactly, though. Okay. Needle's really nice against those Mutavaults. They have another Merfolk Goddess in the hand, so I guess, like, trading for it this turn is not that good. So let's try to find Delirium off the Needle. Okay, smart to animate here. We do find Delirium. Now we just attack with the Channeler and try to race with Shadowspear. Her dollar hosting Mingu. Any chance of a co-stream? There's definitely a chance of a co-stream, but you know, Mingu is also like on vacation, so I'm not gonna, you know, put him to work, you know, if he doesn't want to. So this week's gonna be a little weird. Because Andrea Biguchi is coming to stay, and there's an SCG in my local area, which is gonna be fun. So this week, Monday through Wednesday should be normal, no real changes, and then, geez, Adept into Relic is a very good turn for my opponent here. Yeah, Monday through Wednesday should be normal. I'm picking Minguchi up at like 12 or something on Wednesday, so I'm gonna try to be ready for that, and then I think I'm gonna try to stream like one league on that Thursday. One league on that Thursday, I pick him up, and then I will try to also do a stream on Friday, and like, you know, if Mingu wants to co-stream, he can. If not, you know, that's fine. That's kind of like the loosey-goosey plan. Okay. So just going to be in on the Shadowspear. I wonder how much merit there is to putting Shadowspear on Ragavan here. I do have a third basic mountain. So I put the Shadowspear on the Ragavan. My opponent's very likely to just trade Adept for the Ragavan. Then that unlocks the Ragavan in my hand. I get a treasure token, which grows both constructs, and I get to hit them with my construct this turn, and my construct on D. I think we'll do that. I think we'll do that. Obviously, there's a chance they just don't block it, but I think that would also be like fine. I think we'll leave this Channeler back too. It's too late now. I would have lost a forest. We all have a station on the top, but jumping with Engineer at the line, you could escape the Breach and Tomb Station, then escape. Oh, yeah, that's a good line. That's a good line. I did miss it. I guess I kind of assumed we were short on mana, but I'm sure you're right. It does seem like casting the Vial is worth it here. We get the same number of artifacts. We can Vial in the Ragavan next turn. We can Vial in Giganta. For sure. For sure we'll Vial in Giganta. Can graveyard that. Somewhat surprised I didn't block. I'm a bit worried about a Lord, but I don't currently have Island Walk, so they have to have like Tide Shaper plus Lord here, which would, you know, be good beats. They do have the Lord. Okay. So if I block my construct here, then the Flash Lord kills my construct. So maybe blocking like this is good. I could keep the Channeler around too, maybe. If I keep Channeler around and Legend Rule Ragavan, I do get Delirium. However, if I just block like this, I die to the Lord. If I block like this, I die to the Lord. So I think I have to play around it. They did have it. It's 4 damage. So I think I blast first, so they can't Hexcatcher my blast very easily. And then I just move a Shadowspear over to the construct. But I probably should have played the land attack. I have Needle on Mutavault if you're suggesting attacking with Mutavault here. You see the person who got queued with your delirium charge. Yeah, I saw that. That was exciting. I think they added some Boseiju to the sideboard, which I think was pretty good decision too. But it hits the GGs. Very fun match. You might have been short of mana, I don't remember. Let's just assume that you saw the genius line. Like every Twitch chatter, huh? How good is Merfolk New Lore? I think it's pretty good. It's been putting up some results, been seeing a lot more play. What do you want the end station against? Yeah, someone on Twitter this morning suggested a second station in the sideboard for matchups that they're going to exile the station, which is like more specifically 4-color Omnath, which is a matchup that you're going to want to be able to consistently combo, and especially with like Leyline Binding, I think that it is worth having access to in that matchup, and then also like blue-white control, but never a deck I'm super scared of when I'm playing like 4 Wrenn and Six, 4 Saga. Was I playing in the Pioneer RCQ this weekend? I was playing this Is It Delver deck I've played in the past, kind of an updated version. I was playtesting it too, and then just like jam it. But like I just really like Lofty Denial a lot with Shredder, Sprite Dragon, Delver. I think that getting access to a good counterspell in Pioneer is really unique, and getting to play that card alongside a bunch of good threats is really interesting too. I ended up like losing to Spirits and then Mono White, which are two matchups that oh wow. This deck definitely does have a lot of like, oh wow, draws. Those are definitely two matchups I would expect to be good against with like so many 1-mana removal spells. Because it's kind of another oh wow moment. Because I can breach Bauble a bunch and maybe not win the game next turn, but like I could draw like 6 cards or something. And against, Thoughtseize deck, maybe that's winning the game. I feel like at that point I'd play 2-station main board, board house bad, rather than the other way around. I think that seems totally reasonable too. Let's discard the cave, I think. Well, maybe if I'm about to draw 6 cards, the life just matters more. And also, I might want to hit a land drop next turn. Yeah. If I am just gonna draw a bunch of cards here, then hitting my land drop seems like actually really important. Although I drew the land for turn. Okay, let's attack. And then I think this is just gonna be a value breach. Oh, notably, I think this is a spot that if we were playing, the Jeskai version, we would probably be winning here. Oh, sorry, we don't get to sack the Baubles for cards, do we? We have to sack them, yeah, we have to sack them for cards in the yard. Oh, no, I can still win, though, because I drew the land for turn. I still should win, because I'll just find Ragavan, Mox Amber, though. Although I guess I need to... Okay, I need to not be graveyarding cards with Channeler, actually, because I need to keep my storm count higher. I need to fetch before I lose all my fetchables. But this should actually be a win. I guess I should have also sacked with the trigger on the stack. Sorry, I'm learning. It doesn't look like I need any more cards in the yard because I have enough to escape the Ragavan. Although I guess it's also true our storm count's going to be like easily high enough, but... I think this is probably just good to get in the right habits, right? Yeah, we did need to draw the land there to win. It's going to take some time, but should be deterministic. Because I can always yield. Sometimes you don't want to do this because you want to get multiple untaps, but I don't think that's super duper common. Deathly afraid I'm going to misclick and then get made fun of. A fate worse than death. Okay, there's a Mox Amber. So we still have the oh, you know what? I guess I actually should have. Sorry, I should have put one more card in the yard because if I milled over my Grapeshot, I'd actually be in like a little bit of trouble, right? So we'll do that now. Oh, make a mana. What's the reason not to bin every card over surveil? I'm trying to get my storm count as high as possible. And the more cards that you bin off the surveil, the lower your storm count is because you just don't have as you know, you're limited by the number of cards in your library. However, here we do get to. We found the Grapeshot. I think I'll just do one extra. I don't know why. When I used to play Storm and Legacy a ton too, I would always do this too. I would always just do like one extra. No real reason. It doubles with being able to cast another Grapeshot. Yeah, actually, I think this... yeah, so we would have had to bin 3 cards, actually, with Channeler to cast another Grapeshot. I don't know. We might have been a little short. I could have floated 1 more mana, done the loop 1 more time, 7 cards in yard, bin 3 cards with the Channeler over the course of the game, double Grapeshot, yeah. Of course, in this spot, we don't need to double Grapeshot, but that's something to think about, too. Just get enough cards in the yard with Channeler to double Grapeshot in those spots. Was that a turn 3 kill? That might have been a turn 3 kill, actually. Okay, yeah, I do wonder if like a 2/2 split of Engineer Station is right. That could definitely be right. You open up an extra sideboard slot too. Although you make your like Engineers like gets better post board a lot of times with like Needle, Spellbomb, Lantern. Okay, so we're up against, like, what is presumably Scam. So I've actually been bringing in a Needle, too, because they've been hearsing me a lot. You can also name, like, Voidwalker. Not a ton. I mean, you kind of want the Voidwalker to die, huh? I do think against the more interactive matchups, I do like to cut an Amber. I think the 4th Breach is fun to cut, too. And I think we can cut the 3rd Blast. If I tried the Wizard Micromancer combo deck, no. I actually had some ideas on how to improve it a little bit. Like, I think the Wizard cycling card is pretty garbage. Especially when you can potentially Micromancer for Traverse for Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, I can kind of show where I'm thinking with the Wizard deck. So maybe someone wants to pull up the original tweet, but someone had a really cool Micromancer combo deck that was just like so creative and interesting and was maybe it's under DMU. They had a Micromancer combo deck. That's not this one. It's this. Okay. So the idea was they're going to be able to Micromancer for Angel's Grace. Sorry, for Ephemerate. Ephemerate your Micromancer. Get Angel's Grace, Spoils of the Vault, and then Wizard Cycle for Thassa's Oracle. And then combo off with Angel's Grace, Oracle. The Wizard Cycling card I think is pretty dopey. So this version doesn't have Traverse. I think there's got to be another list. So I have like a lot of drafts of this. I'm really stuck on. I'm really stuck on the list. I'm not sure that this is. I'm not sure if you want to go on the Grief Solitude direction. But one cool thing about Grief Solitude, I think, is that it lets you play like 4 spoils, 4 Angel's Grace, and then you can pitch redundant copies to Grief and Solitude in your Ephemerate deck, which is kind of interesting. You could maybe splash for a 1 of Traverse in this version, and that lets you play less Oracles. I'm not sure. But I think there's maybe something here. You could maybe try to play the Witch's Cottage mana base, and that would let you, like, potentially Witch's Cottage back Micromancer or Oracle. I don't know. So, the sideboard is also, like, it started off with, like, cards I was considering for like this really this has like leftover sideboard cards from like pre-Modern Horizons pre-Modern Horizons 2. If you remember like the Jeskai Aether Vial Soul Herder Cat combo deck has like leftover stuff from there. Okay, I guess on the draw against Scam, probably keep this. How fast can this kill? I think turn 3. I think we just killed turn 3. Oofed out the 16. Thank you. You can bin cards with Channel because the storm count stays the same. You can still get to escape them with Breach. Oh, of course. Okay. I guess you should be more aggressively graveyarding. Although it doesn't matter a ton, I guess. It's faster. Turn 4. I mean, I think theoretically you could kill by turn 2, right? If you go turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 hit them with Ragavan. You have 3 mana. Then you just go Mox Amber, Grinding Station Breach, turn 2 kill. What about Micromancer Wizards with Pyre? It's just like a lot. Like, so the thing about that is like, you need Micromancer. You need like a density of wizard creatures. You need a density of instants and sorceries for Micromancer to hit. And then now all of a sudden we also need. Play Spear. Now all of a sudden we also need Pyre of Heroes too. And like think about our Pyre chain. It's just like too many slots in a 60 card deck, I think. Oh, and the wizard deck. Oh, that one could theoretically win by turn 4. You just go turn 4, spoils. Spoils, or Grey Spoils Oracle. Do you need Traverse? If you need Micromancer for Oracle, you can just get second Spoils. Spoils. Oh, yeah, I guess that would work too. That would be better too. Yeah, just get 2 Spoils. So I saw, yeah, and then I do think you would want to play more Oracles in that situation, just to like one naturally draw the combo and make sure that you're not going to. I guess you would be spoiling for your Oracle first. I don't do donation decks. No, I used to, but I've decided I hate my audience and I just don't do them anymore. Hopefully, I'm not getting Blood Mooned. It won't be the end of the world. Might even cut them off of some like double black spells, triple black spells. Maybe getting Turok here, Griefed. Geyer, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. I think I just let this happen. I was kind of hoping to keep the bolt in hand. It's fine that we didn't. See what we draw. Goblin Engineer is interesting. I'm just definitely gonna make another token, just get max value. I'm a little concerned about like Hidetsugu consumes all or something like that. I could Needle Engineered Explosives. I don't think they play explosives that much anymore though. Gaia World, 11 months again, thank you. I don't know. Could just get a Springleaf Drum. Am I ever beating Hidetsugu Consumes All here? Like if I get Bauble and crack Bauble, I don't really think so. I think I'll just get the Drum. And I could try to hit a land by casting Synthesizer. I think I'm gonna wait. Although, is getting this up to 6 power super relevant? 9 damage. Yeah, not really super relevant. Pew Pew, 13 months, thank you. Do you have any thoughts on creativity, Teamer versus 4-color or 5-color? I really like the versions that are like, I guess 5-color now with Leyline Binding. I think that I probably would not play Shadow Prophecy in that deck though, at least if I wasn't like already maxing out on. I would max out on Fable and Prismari Command before Shadow Prophecy. Micromancer, Naban, Silence. I had Naban in some of the drafts. The problem with Naban is like that card is awful. Okay, so this should be the same win, right? We will eventually find Ragavan, Mox Amber. What can they have to disrupt to me? Not really anything. All right, so I just started comboing. So I think I'll go always, well, always yes, but not always yield. So I could potentially get the extra untap. I don't know how it would really be relevant, but maybe we'll find out. Okay, there's Mox Amber. So now we just need the Ragavan. Oh, we do need the extra untap, right? Because we have to cast the Ragavan. That's right. It is actually super relevant here. There's the Ragavan. Oh, we actually don't have the second untap, though. Hold on. Did I mess something up? No, I don't think I did. This is just how it works. Sorry. I don't know why I thought never mind. It's just how it works. But it should be simple as... Sorry, it should just be simple as actually casting Ragavan, leaving Mox Amber in the yard, then just sacking the Spear or a Construct so I can cast the Amber again. I feel like I wasn't stumbling through this as much yesterday. Or maybe it just seems like I'm stumbling through it more than I actually am. I feel like a lot of times it's like easier to like do stuff without like articulating it out loud, or maybe it seems easier. But then we have to actually explain your thought process. It's just like, I don't know. I'll be after I explain it a few times. It'll sound better. Yeah, just a matter of finding our Grapeshot now, which is still in the deck, I think. One time I cited out all my Grapeshots against Red-Green Valakut when I was playing Gift Storm in Modern. It was out of GP2. Like, usually in that matchup, you just board down to one. In that matchup, I would just board down to one copy of... Oh, what happened? I messed up my untap. Oh, I cast Channeler instead? This is still fine. I misclicked. I meant to cast the Amber. I thankfully have a Synthesizer in my hand. Yeah, this is definitely one thing too. It's like on Magic Online, you're just gonna end up like misclicking some percentage of the time because the combo is so click intensive. In paper, the combo is a bit more consistent. No talk, just click. I mean, I'm trying to keep people, you know, somewhat engaged in the stream. You know what I mean? I don't get paid to click. I get paid to talk. Okay, opponent is... Okay, so now we know we can graveyard a bit more aggressively. I mean, we could have last game 2 just because we had the storm count. Could also just go... bolt them a bunch too. I didn't like board out the Grapeshot, right? Let me double check. I didn't, but could I also just go? Okay, hold on, let me just go through more. Is my Grapeshot really in the last 2 cards? I guess I can go Blast. Okay, there it is. It's weird that everybody in chat's like, it's exiled, it's exiled. Alright, 3-0. Deck was feeling great yesterday too. I did ask Mingu to to bring Mox Ambers and Underworld Breaches for me. Although I think I may be still missing a couple of the commons and uncommons, but I could be able to get them from homies. So I think I'm actually gonna Bauble myself now. If I see exactly Mishra's Bauble on top, I'll cast the Synthesizer. No way! Let's go. Let's go. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to keep the Bauble though for Blast for a Dryad. Although I do really want to find a land also. And there's Boseiju. That's actually nuts here. How's this compared to Is It or Just Guy? That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure the exact differences still. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, I was supposed to wait on the second Bauble. I was too excited. I was supposed to wait on it to try to see if they play Dryads to know if I needed to kill it or not. Although I can still get Metalcraft with the Synthesizer. Although I'm worried about just dying. Alright, so let's cast the Synthesizer. I need to blast this Dryad. Really hoping to find a land. Okay, well, maybe not that land. I need something to tap for a color so I could go Boseiju and Blast. So if I Boseiju the Saga here, they get a 4S, untapped. And then Bounce land plus the Soccer Tribe Elder would let them Titan anyways. So I think we're just blasting the Dryad. Since they're gonna be able to Titan me next year if they have Bounce land Titan no matter what. They do have Bounce land. Good trade. Sorry, let's actually offer the trade. Yeah, sorry, offering the trade makes sense. I guess they'll just block and sack. But if they take the trade here, then they're actually going to be short, right? They're going to be short of Titan next turn. If they take the hit, then we get to Boseiju. But they'll just block and sack probably. Keep Boseiju for bounce land. Maybe that line was better. Boseiju the bounce land. It's pretty bad if they just have second bounce land though. They can't Titan if they Boseiju if they have one able to. So if I Boseiju the Saga, they can, right? Because then they'll have the 4 mana off the double land drop from Dryad, and then they'll have the land from the Boseiju, the land from the Soccer Tribe Elders. That's exactly 6. I didn't see that there was a way to like Metalcraft Galvanic Blast plus Boseiju this turn, but maybe I was missing something. Got heat on the brain. Have I thought about my Vegas deck at all? I mean, that's kind of like irrelevant, right? Like whatever I play at SCG Dallas is like the deck I want to play at a modern tournament. So I think that's like just like 1-to-1 translating to Vegas. We're dead, right? Yeah, I think the line was, I guess, just not to sack the Bauble, but like it becomes the line like also like after we draw the Boseiju. But I should have like just waited until they like played or not, didn't play the Dryad. What about Boseiju on bounce line for Amulet triggers? Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. It's like really bad against second bounce line in hand, but it was maybe the best line. It was the only line to beat like the bounce line we knew about, plus the Titan in hands. It's also like kind of slow. Let's untap with Dryad. Does feel like right now feels like it would have been the line. We're gonna cut the bolts, leaving the blasts, I think, because they kill Dryad. Could definitely play the first copy of Ancient Grudge. I think maybe the Grudge over the Shadowspear is good. Why did you choose Blast over Heat? Blast deals damage to the face, and like the big idea behind this build is you get to be more aggressive. You win a lot of games with like Breach, Blast. Do you feel like Founding Third Pass is kind of a dud? Not exactly. You know, the barrier to entry for competitive Modern is incredibly high. And I think Founding Third Path is still like definitely a card I would like to see in like basically every mill list. Maybe I'm a little out of touch with that, but I've liked it in that shell. But Founding Third Path is like a really hard card to build around. I actually liked it a lot in Esper Mentor, but it's like maybe just like a card that's like right on the outside of playability until it gets like 1 or 2 more enablers. Kind of feels like around that power level to me. But I definitely don't go into most playtesting. Ooh, play reward packs. Most playtesting in Modern expecting anything to permanently stick. It's just a lot of like, like this deck is actually a great example because I've played a lot of this like package of cards are playing here, like Ragavan, Wrenn and Six, Channeler, Saga, like this very low to the ground, red, artifact, synergy based deck, sometimes Asmo, sometimes not Asmo. Alright, so let's see if my top card is like a Boseiju or Grudge. Okay, Mox Amber, we'll shuffle that. Just put Grinding Station in the yard. Like this is a kind of deck I've played a lot in the past. Like there's a lot of very interesting, powerful red, low mana value cards that all work well with artifacts that we're playing here. And I've been very interested in exploring this shell in the past, and maybe I could have figured out that this was the best package earlier. But better late than never, also. So if I Goblin Engineer back Bauble, I'm not making a Saga token. So I guess we'll just see how relevant that is. I guess I could have done both and not played the Channeler. Yeah, I could pay for the pact. My opponent seems to have kept a pretty dopey hand. Soft, thank you for the 2-pack. Appreciate you. If that's for deck tech, you can post a link in the chat. Alright, so upsides of drawing a card with the Bauble is that I just one Underworld Breach from winning the game. I don't think like not making a token even like really changes my clock that much. Let's just do this. Grazer on top, probably not that relevant because I don't think they have a bounce land. They could have a bounce land though. Ooh, Boseiju is really nice. So let's. I think we'll make a Saga token with this chapter. Get a Mamber. And then tap Mamber for Drum. Maybe get Delirium. Get Delirium. And then I think we leave the Engineer back again. Soft, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you. Oh, maybe I wasn't supposed to attack because I kind of wanted them to draw the Grazer. It's fine, though, because if they draw Bounce, I have the Boseiju now. And thank you for the sub, Soft. I love one Bomat to turn on Delirium Saga. Too cute. I've played Bomat in these shells in the past. Like, one really awkward thing about that card in this shell, I think, is that if you accidentally, like, exile your Grapeshot and then your Bomat dies, it's just like you lose the game randomly. Esper Greasefang. With Obscura Charm to bring back Greasefang. Very interesting. I like the thought here a lot. Too bad Safari. Oh, this is modern. Okay, so one thing I like really instantly dislike about this shell is this is a Pioneer deck with 3 Force of Negations and 3 Prismatic Endings. This is, and you know, better mana base, although you're not playing as many. You should be playing Prismatic Vista. You should be playing other fetch lands instead, but it's a little bit of a digress, I guess. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, just want to double check. Oh, sorry. I have 11. I'm just attacking here, but I should have played the Synthesizer first. Although, if they're going to Boseiju my Construct, then I'm not actually missing damage. Yeah. No Unearth. Yeah. Like, in Modern, Unearth is, like, just so much more mana efficient than Obscura Charm. It also gets your Shredder. That's really important. You should play the 4th Parhelion, too. You should play the 4th Parhelion, like, for sure, Z's. Okay. Yeah, I guess if I play the Synthesizer first, then I can present Lethal and leave the Engineer back too. Still in pretty good shape. The bounce land doesn't even let them tighten here. Alright, definitely want to graveyard that, can't cycle it. Ooh, now we get to Rend Boseiju. And Graveyard Grudge. Unreal. Unreal top decks. Yeah. First, so this is this is just a Pioneer list. It seems like if you're gonna build Modern Greasefang, which I've done a few times, Goblin Engineer to tutor Parhelion in the graveyard is like by far your best enabler. This is This is not this strategy of like trying to mending the Parhelion into yard, Shredder into the yard when you're lacking. I don't know. It feels like to some extent you're lacking in the interaction. I guess you're playing Ending, Thoughtseize Drown, Force. Charm pitch into Force is nice, but I would be playing Unearth over Charm if you're going to stick to Esper. I'd cut the Smuggler's Copter for the 4th Parhelion. I'd cut the Sky Sovereign altogether. Just try to Greasefang Parhelion. This is your 2-card combo. Don't dope around with this. You don't have enough creatures to crew Copter anyways. I would play the 4th Prismatic Ending over the 1st copy of March of Otherworldly Light. I'd play 3 Unearth over 3 Obscura Charm, and I would play the 4th Faithful Mending, I think. Additionally, I would not play Takanuma. I would not play the 2nd Basic Plains. I don't know why that's there. I would not play Prismatic Vista. I'd play 3 more Esper Fetches. And this build could also be like better than I think. I'll just have to look a little closer. Okay, we have Breach, Amber, and then Grinding Station off the Engineer. So we'll definitely keep this plus a Boseiju. I guess I'll keep the fetch lands for cards in the graveyard for Breach maybe. What's on a mold of 5 also. Paladin 9 months. Bimp with the 26. Would love a deck tech unless a top 4 hour secure the weekend. Do you have a preferred deck tech site? MTG Goldfish. If you have exclamation point deck list, you get the info. Do you know anything about the Naya Depths in Legacy? It was second most played deck in Legacy. Pit, but no one plays with it. Bought Mox Diamond, so hope the deck's not falling off. I'm familiar with like Depths in Legacy. I don't know exactly what like the most recent versions look like, but I don't know. I think that it's tough to put like too much stock on any one tournament. Although I will say that like you are right that the fact that it was the most played Relic is really nasty for our exact hand. The fact that it's like the most played tournament you said or the most played deck at the tournament and it didn't place that is definitely a red flag. But that could also mean of course that like it's not placing because it was a metagame that was like pretty heavily metagamed for that deck, right? I might just have to Boseiju the Relic. I think I have to. My hand is just so in on the combo here. They might be able to map for Bog. They do decide to draw the card instead, which is fine. That's really nice draw. So can I go Springleaf Drum, Engineer, Alpine Moon? I can. Great draw. But it might map for Boseiju or Bojuka Bog. But they might need to map for a bounce land too. Thank you, Matthew. Is there a limit for deck tech channel points for use today? They're always on a 30-minute cooldown timer. Yeah, they do bog us, unfortunately. So now it is, for the first time today, Gigantha time. Might ping them too. Probably a little early to ping them. Why do you have one station to engineer for? We have a second station in the sideboard if we feel like our opponent has a lot of exile. You know, it's also like, you know, we're just like not all in on the combo game plan. Sage would be really nice here. You think that you might want the second grinding station to better play through one shot graveyard hate like that? We have the second in the sideboard. We could have maybe we're supposed to bring it in this matchup. It's also possible you could like just play 2 at the main. Also, you could cut like the 7th burn spell or the 3rd engineer. It'd be a tough one to win. But really nice to be able to double block this turn. Lucy showed up. Audio has a lot of buzzing. I don't know if that's like my headphones. That's something Esther's doing. I'm not sure. I did just switch the scene, which would have, you know, changed the audio issues if there were any. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like this happens a lot. Like people in the chat will just be like, "Spike, there's an audio issue." Well, but then the rest of the chat's like, "No, everything's fine. Everybody else is dumb." But surely there's something going on. We're gonna synthesizer here. If they Boseiju the Breach, not the end of the world. I think they realized that. So I can sack the synthesizer for mana. Zach's been 22 months. Appreciate you. I think we'll just die. Just die to double strike. Okay, fall to 3-1. I'm trying to think if we would have maybe won that game if we even have the second breach in the deck. We'd have like a way to tutor it. Just a lot of cards that were designed for multiplayer that are much better in single player formats. It makes me a lot less interested in Legacy. Pauper, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I know that Pauper banned a lot of initiative cards, but I also know they didn't ban all of them. Okay, so let's look at our top card. If it's an untapped land, we have a pretty easy mountain here. Mox Amber. Okay, let me just play the Forgotten Cave tapped. So I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not saying that Legacy has like no redeeming qualities. Not saying that, you know, it's obviously fine to like Legacy, but this is why I personally have fallen out of love with the format over the years. Not that, you know, I would hate to play it. I actually played a Legacy tournament with like the mono blue artifact deck somewhat recently. Had fun. Okay, burn again. Second time this league. Interesting. I would love to be able to go Ragavan, Mox Amber, Lightning Bolt. I think it's just obviously too much damage, but as good as Saga is in this matchup, I do think I'm going to take this turn to Ragavan, Mox Amber. Ragavan is also really good in this matchup. It like very often like just demands to be answered. So, and then I also have like another lightning bolt up for another creature. As the president of Modern, can we get Chain Lightning in the format? No. I don't think Chain Lightning would be like a particularly positive addition. I don't think I'm ever bolting them here. What do you think about Wish in the deck? You need to keep the mana curve really low in your Experimental Synthesizer decks. I guess I should have floated mana. Obviously, big punt to not float mana because they're not gonna be able to hit me with a haste creature if I do. Yeah, I think Wish like seems to me like kind of textbook win more card. In this deck at least. I think I'm probably supposed to Breach Bolt this turn, just like a lot more mana efficient. Instead of just casting one Lightning Bolt. I still have another Breach in the hand too. So we'll see if that extra 2 damage matters, or if Urza Saga Shadowspear just takes over the game. I would love to put, just know there's an untapped land on top. And play the synthesizer here, just gonna pass back though. Wasn't it worth to consider Breach? Monkey Bolt. Pull from the hand. Yeah, that line is maybe better. Return all the Mox Amber. Monkeys again, you know, good card in the matchup. It's worse against another creature in hand, but they're not super likely to have another one. GG's Robot. Kind of weird. I think I'm actually going to float a mana here. I really want to equip the Shadowspear. But I also get to cast the Synthesizer first, so if they're going to kill the Construct, they kill it now before I spend the mana, but now it's 4 toughness. Sick little puppy, thank you for 7 months, appreciate you. Got a healthy little puppy here. Who's very good. They'll be hounding Minguchi all weekend, I think. Cool, that worked out. Well, what sure thing with Twitch Prime? This matchup seems pretty decent. I'm going to bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb for pro red creatures, extra Boseiju, kills Eidolon, rest in peace, and that one enchantment. I think cutting a Mamber is fine. Cutting a Breach is fine. Could cut a Cave and play the extra Boseiju. Let's do that. How do you get enough clout for the professor to notice you? Well, I think for you, Hitachi, step one would be quitting Guilty Gear and playing more Magic. But that was step one for me, is being a Magic content creator. Puppy 7 months, wish you with Twitch Prime, Smile Child the 13, Spirit with 7, thank you. Am I going to play and shuffle play? We already recorded. I was there last week in Portland for Monday through Wednesday, and I don't know when the episode's coming out, but it was a lot of fun. I was there with Brad Nelson and the Amazonian herself, Amy. I feel like on the draw against Burn, I might mulligan this. No removal. Synthesizers can be kind of slow. Oh my gosh, I meant to click mulligan. I mean, it's not the worst hand I've ever accidentally kept. Not the worst hand I've ever accidentally kept. And looks like we kind of got there. Yeah, let's go ahead and Bauble ourselves here, both the Swiftspear though. Ooh, and then... Okay, hand ended up working out super well. Top 2 cards, just like absolutely ideal. I do think I'm going to bolt now, so I don't get like double bolted and they get to save the Swiftspear. No, I forgot to bring my EDH deck, but I don't know. Like we were just like mostly hanging out and like eating and stuff rather than just jamming Magic nonstop all weekend, you know. Okay, Mamber on top. Yes, you can cast him. And Debo with the 3 months. Could have maybe gone Wrenn and Six into Amber into Channeler, but then I have like no chance to get Delirium. Getting Delirium this turn seems really nice, and playing Saga this turn also seems really important. Druid combo. So I've played some Devoted Druid combo in the last year or so. And I think I found what I perceive to be the best shell. I'll go ahead and pull that up, and then we'll talk about like maybe building the deck more in this direction. But let me go ahead and grab that for you. I was really proud of this one. I feel like I got a little stuck with it, although I recently had a little bit of innovation for the list, so we're gonna talk about that too. Thank you, Goblin Guide. So this is a Naya Devoted Druid deck that is using Rocco from the Streets of New Capenna and Finale of Devastation as your like Eldarmer's Call Finale of Devastation here. But what's cool about Rocco and Finale is that or I should say what's like bad about these kinds of cards in other versions is that when you're not comboing, they suck. They're so mana intensive, they're really clunky. But in this deck, if your opponent kills your Devoted Druid, if it doesn't feel like you can combo, you just grab an Asmo and you become like this Naya Stoneblade deck instead. And so you have like a fast turn 3 combo deck kill against the non-interactive decks, and against the interactive decks you become this like, you know, this like slower, you know, grindier Naya deck, which is I found to be like a really good game plan. And a lot of times against the interactive decks, you just like cut your combo, you're in on the Naya Stoneblade stuff, you have like, you know, sort of Fire and Ice to help you with that, like that kind of plan post board too. One card I really want to play in this list though is a Mox Amber to go with the Wrenn and Six and the Asmo plan, and the Rocco also. But that's a little bit of a digression, I guess. Okay, so we could play Wrenn and Six this turn. We have the shock to play Wrenn and Six. I'm just gonna play Boseiju token. So this is the list I've liked the most. You can find it in the Stream Decker. I'm not sure exactly where I'd play the Mox Amber, but I know I wanted one copy. And this I think this version really compensates for a lot of the weaknesses that versions like this have. These more traditional versions that have have been doing really poorly for a long time, to be honest, and versions that I don't really believe in anymore. You know what I mean? This is kind of, you know, this is like a little bit of a digression, but I think like a lot of times like specific archetypes in Modern will fall out of favor, or sorry, I guess but players will just continue to build them in the exact same way they've been built for a really long time. Like this deck looks like straight out of 2018, 2017, you know, with some Teferi Time Ravelers instead, which is fine, but I think a lot of times you're gonna want to like do like a big like revolution on it, if that makes sense. One card you might want to consider is Ranger Captain. Ranger Captain is a card that obviously is a payoff for your infinite mana by getting Ballista, but is like a nice protection piece as well. That's a card that I think would be maybe better than Teferi Time Raveler. It also lets you get like Forge Tinder for protection post board. Okay, well, let me get the Shadowspear. Not saying that's definitely better, but I think it's something to like pretty seriously consider here. I think I like the rest of the numbers. Game 1. I think you could potentially... So like one thing about the mana dorks in Devoted Druid is like it's kind of awkward that you're not wanting to curve 1 drop into 3 drop. You know what I mean? You're trying to curve 2 into 3 or 2 into 4 a lot of the time. And so, because of that, like, I'm not playing any mana dorks in that other version. And in this version, it could be good to just do something like 4 Giver, 4 Devoted Druid. You know what I mean? I guess I should have synthesized first, but I will just play it out for the extra power toughness. No way! I hit Bauble. That's so freaking lucky. I don't deserve this Bauble. That was Skullcrack? Yeah, Special Smithereens didn't really make a ton of sense there. Could theoretically die to Boros Charm. So land Boros Charm 3 damage burn spell, or land 3 1 mana burn spells. Yeah. Besides, I think I would maybe recommend just like maybe doing something like 2 Noble Hierarch, 4 Esper Sentinel, 0 mana dorks, or maybe you go up on the mana. Okay, opponent just conceded. 4 winning first league of the day, feeling pretty good. That's actually 3 4-1s in a row now with this deck, although making a couple of small changes between leagues. Yeah, I think I would be interested in again in Sentinel in that list over the mana dorks, maybe going up on 2 lands. But I would also recommend the Rocco version too. Okay, let's run it back, pay out the believers. GG's.